wonderful if this was 2 years ago when the construction costs were far less. But if we were to take that in now,
3 million plus for the water
that we
line.
must do.
I have a suggestion, Mr. Nash. I would like y'all to authorize the town manager to put together maps and data, and we can look at it and if we can decide, I feel it warrants a work session. It would take that much time to go over it. Mr. Rourke has asked us not to overload the county, take on one project at a time. They have a full agenda, and we said we would do that. So I'd like to get something in front of us that we can make these discussions. And even, if the manager would go so far as to give you a dollar amount if you want to take Cox Road, and how we would fund it, this, that, and the other. And then we could sit down and we could actually
And
have
if
the
you would,
information and talk about it.
in those documents, do like, for instance, Cole Harbor. Right
Yes.
now, we get paid, what, 150% of what the water charges are?
We make, on water and sewer, we make 50% upcharge because it's out of town.
So we gotta figure that
We
in.
would lose that, but we would gain the tax of personal property and real estate
So
taxation.
I'd like to know how that weighs.
And for Cox Road, we're just talking about water territories and stuff like that.
Well, I'm not sure. If you bring it inside town, just like we did Eppington Forest, which is south of 10th Street, back in the early 90s, 1995, and we just paid it off a few years ago. I mean, you spent a couple $1 million putting sewer in over there. Water was there already, and as part of the agreement for the boundary adjustment, the town put sewer in that neighborhood.
So if we told them, hey, we'll take Cox Road and Cole Harbor off your hands, but we want a boundary line down to 460.
Hopefully, it's a moot point that the county understands with our motion that we just made, that we don't need to push. I understand that yes, if they go forward and say, hey, we don't care about your agreement that you are sending us, that we're gonna go on with the water authority, then yeah, we probably need to start setting boundaries. But if, it sounds like they're gonna work with us possibly.
They were very, very agreeable. At least two of the board members were. They didn't make a commitment, but they said, let's have that discussion, talk about it.
The other thing is, you never know what the next board's gonna do.
Oh, yeah.
The next
Well,
one.
I think their role as the chair and the vice chair is to hear us and present it to the board. I will say this with certainty that they will do it, they will make the presentation favorably to the board. So I'm very, very encouraged. Is that agreed with common consent, or do we need a motion to allow?
Get some numbers and put it together.
Common consent.
I'm fine
Let it
with it
be.
too.
Can I ask a question?
Please,
I'm not out of
Mr.
line.
Gomez.
But with regard to the infrastructure of the system, water and water treatment, supply, the piping, valves, is there a plan in place to proactively approach that system and maintain it for long term?
Well, we have a capital improvement plan that our water operator, Ed Harris, our head operator, and that Andre Hicks submit to me every year. And I don't think it touches the tip of the iceberg. If you look at it, I can give you an example. When Mr. Green was on council, we did a study of what the replacement of just the water system at Fort Pickett would cost, and it was over $16 million. So,
That was equivalent to 35 million today.
well, yeah, it was $16 million 5 years ago. So
I mean, that's just
we have a capital improvement plan, and we just take bites out of it. And we did the aeration this year. This coming year, I told the finance committee I'm not going to ask for a lot of money, but I do think I heard some bubblers in those, some aeration systems in the water tanks to help with some of the THM issues, the letters that everybody's been getting. So that may be part of what we're doing, but
I'm all about growth. I'm
Yeah.
just thinking, if we're not maintaining what we have, sooner or later, we're gonna have to start spending money there too.
I can't say we need to maintain it any better. We need to replace it. It's a daggone old.
Wow.
You got water lines at Fort Pickett that are still made out of asbestos,
Yeah,
serving public potable water.
that's why I'm
These are
asking.
great questions. That's why I would like a proposal on each boundary adjustment that he perceived that we would want to entertain. And then we'll
And I
have
would
all-
love to sit down with any of y'all together as a committee or council and go over, because we've submitted multiple grant applications in the past year.
Well, I guess what we
And
have to
with these
done, it
dollars.
may have already been done, is to create a prioritized list based on risk and. what
I've
we
got
have.
them, yeah.
A lot of times, a lot of this stuff is done through the grant projects. So like Mr. Miller's ward, yeah, we took on the housing aspect of it, but when we did that, we also took on the water and sewer replacement as well. So when we do these grant areas,
It was
we
our
try to-
match.
We try to
And-
get the stuff that also needs to be replaced.
before we fix the street, we want to get the water and sewer replaced before we do
That makes sense.
the other things. Same in Taylor Bottom, we're talking about doing that too.
East End, same thing. We're talking, not the East End, Taylor Bottom, talking about water and sewer issues.
Are y'all agreeable? We move on?
Yep.
Yeah.
The third item that we spoke with was about school properties. We've discussed this in closed session. I'm gonna add that to the agenda, and hopefully this will be the last time it's closed session, but we have some information.
Tonight?
Tonight.
Okay.
So, we'll have the manager brief us in closed session under, acquisition of real estate from another government, okay? All right, so the third agenda item is the Northwest Avenue ditch. Would you like to take the lead on this, sir?
Now, Ken, I have, and it's the last 2 pages in your packet. Council asked me what it would cost to get approximately to the rear of Mr. Somerville's property, and we have a cost estimate. It is not a bid, and I don't think it's a change order. I don't think it's appropriate to add it on the current contract, but $54,000, $54,700 would add another 60 feet of 30-inch stone pipe to the end of the one that's currently at Mr. Somerville's house, and that would approximately take it to the rear of his property.
Rear of property, meaning rear of cleared land?
Yeah, I would say it's about that.
I don't know how, where it
I can go
falls.
out there, but he quoted 60 additional feet, and we took it off the easement plat. We sketched it out there. And remember, the ditch for the most part is not on Mr. Somerville's property. It's on adjacent property, but it would approximately get it to the rear of the property. But it is 60 feet, and so everybody's clear. And the record reflects, this is a cost estimate based on adding a new structure, which would be like a drop inlet, and 60 feet of additional pipe.
Shocks me, the price being, the other project was 90-some, do a much larger portion.
That's why I would recommend we just rebid this in the upcoming year. But his estimate was $54,700 to add 60 feet.
Do we wanna wait until you get the bids in to decide?
Well, I wasn't planning on bidding it. We need to put it in the budget. My recommendation is this needs to be part of the budget process with the understanding the 54,700 be part of that budget process. And if approved and in the budget, then I would put the money aside, gotta save the cash, and then we would
So
put
it'd
it out to
be a
bid.
change order.
I'm not recommending the change order side.
Recommend rebidding it.
Or rebidding it, RFP in it.
It's not RFP, it's not a proposal, it's actually a solicitation of sealed bids.
Just a new project in essence.
New project, outright new project. So it could be a different contractor.
It'll be like an engineering report and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's gonna have to be some engineering done. You're gonna have to stake it out and do those kinds of things because everybody has to have the same thing to bid on. You can't just say,
Yeah.
tell me what you think. You're gonna have to have
Right.
some drawings done. And that does not include engineered.
So, Mr. Somerville is with us, so I would like to test the water with council, okay? So, if I'm, recommendation is to put the additional 60 feet out for bid and handle it through the July budget process. Did you,
It would be after July, and it could be a priority project first of the year if that's what you chose, but, I mean, cash, we talked about it at finance committee, we're waiting on some reimbursements right now, and our cash is not great. We're trying to put money aside right now for the roof at the Schwartz Tavern, and we still have a half a bucket truck to pay for this year that's been ordered. And we still have, a couple other things that we still need to do, including, we have a contract to repair the water tank at Fort Pickett. That's in the budget. There's a water tank at Fort Pickett at the movie theater, and there's a contract to do that, it's over $180,000, and we only got $80,000, so we still have
you've heard the town manager's report. Council members, do you have any questions?
And I think the reason too, so you know, to wait on it because you've got a family over off Dillard Street that has every expectation you're gonna put that pipe in their yard as well. And we can bid them out at the same time. And it would take me, if we were doing together, it'd take about $200,000 total to do those two projects, including engineering soft cost. And I think we told that family it would not be this year. For those of you that were here, it's my understanding with the Orms family, and
We told the
I think
Arms
information's
family.
on camera.
We told them, what the previous mayor, he almost put us on the spot. So we told them that we would look at it again and we would do it, but then we were gonna put a 2-year moratorium on this. That was what was said.
I think there was a discussion on that.
But
I think
we did
the
not,
Arms are
but we
expecting
did
us
not
to
give
do it.
Arms a certain time.
I don't recall, to be honest.
I would prefer to speak of the Northwest Avenue ditch, and we'll take up the Arms ditch later. So,
Recommendation is wait, put it in the budget, and whether arms is in or not, and put it out back, bid and council two projects.
any other questions for the manager?
What was done, what was said was going to be done at Northwest? I mean, when it
Mr. Somerville's gonna tell you no, and I'm gonna tell you, the record reflects that, how far does this get? And Mr. Van Orbeck said, it may get you back to the railroad track. I misspoke. The expectation was, but the contractor and the engineers did exactly what they were told. Exactly what they were told. But
it don't go back to the railroad track.
it don't go back. We stopped it next to the house like we did for Bobby Evans. We went past his house and stopped. Just like we did for the Armses 25 years ago. We got past our houses and stopped. And we kept with the standard, but I'll be very frank with you. I said it, and I didn't speak it correctly. So if you feel an obligation to do it, it's on me. I take it. But you would have paid it anyhow if you'd have done it. So
I believe the Arms ditch was actually promised by the previous council that it would be done in this calendar year.
Yes, it was said that the Arms ditch would be put in budget this coming year.
this coming year,
Right, this.
Coming
this
fiscal year.
I don't think we ever said we'd do it. I think we
If-
just agreed
if
we'd
you
look at
don't
it in the
mind,
budget.
We're getting lengthy
Voted
on
on
this
it.
meeting, and we'll talk about the
Voted against it.
Arms ditch when it's.
54,700 is the cost estimate.
So you've heard, is there any other questions for the manager or any discussion? I would entertain a motion on what council wants to do.
I mean, I don't
We
know.
entertaining a motion for
Getting
bids?
getting a bid now, and you're not gonna do it until July. I can tell you that bid's gonna be far off. You're not gonna be able to, I mean, it's not gonna be valid. You see what I'm saying? If we're not gonna do it until
Do you
after.
need a motion right now?
I have no idea. I'm trying to gauge
I love
the
it.
will of the council. That's what I'm trying to gauge here, so.
If you want to do it now, we can do it as a change order immediately. We just need to scramble around and find cash. Do it.
No, I think it's reasonable. I don't recall speaking to Mr. Somerville about the time frame. But I don't know how you would do it. You can't, the only way you can do it is with a change order and you're at the mercy. I've been in the mechanical business. That's where a contractor makes money.
Well, I think per foot cost is much higher than what we just paid.
Absolutely.
I'm not
This
saying
is
anything
estimate.
derogatory about
No.
Jason. I mean, I'm his biggest fan, but, so if,
I don't know if you need a motion. If it's a common consent of the council that will take it up during the budget process, we'll take it up during the budget process.
Well, we still need
I
to
think
get
it'll be
that-
favorably
we still
looked
need to
at.
get a bid and engineering report and, advertise bids. I mean, that's gonna take 2 months anyway.
Yeah, I mean, that was
So-
starting in July, when the money was allocated or appropriated.
what's council's pleasure?
I mean, if we got a bid and we knew what the low bid is, and we know what the budget,
And if people
we're gonna
bidding
do it.
knew the work wasn't gonna start till after July.
Bids are not gonna be any good that long, though.
Yeah, they're not
Nobody's
gonna do
gonna
it.
give, in this environment, nobody's
Bids
gonna
only
give
good
you.
for 30 days.
Yeah.
No more than that.
Yep.
It's only good for 30 days. Because most contractors have to put a bid bond up and guarantee their bid for 30 days when they do larger projects.
So y'all don't fuss at me, we here late. So
And you
I-
never know. Also, culvert price can either go
Going
down or it
once.
could go up. One or the other.
Going twice, is there any motions? Because I'm getting ready to move on.
Well, I don't think it should be dropped. I mean, I think it should still move
Should be
forward.
common consent that we let the town manager go out and seek bids.
No, we'll have a motion for
I
that.
gotta get some drawings done first.
Right.
If you wanna authorize me to get drawings done,
I'll make a motion that the town
do that?
manager go out and get the engineering product of this job done. And then come the next fiscal year, we put the cost in there and
Okay.
bid on it after the fiscal year.
that makes probably the most sense, not bidding it, but at least getting the process of surveying and the engineering done, so we have something for contractors to bid on.
I second that.
So we have a motion and second to authorize the town manager to acquire drawings from an engineer and to establish the scope of work.
Yeah, there'll be a task order.
Question. If this is the list we're going off of here, I just have one item of question. The shed relocation and replacement. What is that?
Relocation and replacement. Shed. Oh, on the
On
estimate.
the other side,
Yeah.
on the other side, I don't see that, do you?
Shed relocation replacement, apparently there's a shed.
I mean, I feel like we're taking on costs that may be outside of a project that we should be.
Remove existing concrete end wall, because he's already put the flare walls off, they have to be sawed off. He's got some trees apparently that need to be removed. HDP, 60 feet of HDP is that black plastic pipe, 30 inches in diameter on the interior, on the throat, and a DI1 is a drop inlet.
The only, I just had a question on the shed. What that was, are we gonna be
Apparently there's a
replacing
shed that would be in
shed,
conflict.
or-
This is a slippery
Would
slope.
work. I don't know about the pipe, but for him to mobilize in there, there may have to be a shed. I don't even know if it's on Mr. Somerville's property.
I believe that's on the other man's property. isn't it?
It's not on my property.
I don't see that. And I would like to ask you to have the trees removed and anything else the town crews can do. That you're comfortable doing, and then present these wishes to the engineer and get us some drawings and specs and the scope of work.
Yeah, I mean, there ain't no,
As soon as he gives me a stakeout or a flag out of what needs to be removed, then we can do that.
Okay.
we could go out there and get those trees removed
I mean, if we're gonna do.
now, you know?
Honestly, why are we coming up with a charade of after July? We'll just do the project. I mean, you're gonna be spending a third of the money before you even.
Well, you're just
If we're
saying,
gonna
you
vote
don't
to
know.
spend the money, can this wait till the next meeting? Like, this is a
If we're
really
gonna move
slippery
forward and
slope.
start
There's
excavating
no
and
slippery
doing
slope
stuff.
here. I'll get a ruling from Tessie, but we are in open session. We're legally allowed to take up any
Let me get the
item.
engineer drawings, call the motion, get the engineer drawings and be prepared. And an engineer's cost estimate, okay, not a contractor's estimate, and be prepared if it passes muster in the budget, then we'll begin the process. of getting it.
Will you withdraw your motion?
That was
That's what he
the
says.
That was
That's what you said, okay, fine.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Nay.
Any opposed?
Nay.
Okay, before you, I have a endorsement of a Main Street grant program, letter that, DBI has asked for in support of the mulch program, and the 114 South Main Street is the Billard Crawley building. I'm asking permission to sign this and get this off, to get the feasibility grant to work in conjunction with the grants, MUMS grants that the manager's working on.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Those opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Any,
Yeah.
that's all agenda items, is it,
No,
we,
we got the resolution on the back as well.
okay,
We could do that, that way we could have it.
all right, we have a resolution, honoring the service of Mayor Colburn. It's before you, and it's my intention to have this done in a form of a plaque, but I need your approval on this. If you need more time, we can do it later, but we're looking at March now. Take a moment and look at it and see if you're good with it, we'll go forward.
I read it, and you know, as a citizen, I would generally make the motion to do this, but I'm gonna save it for somebody who served with him. So
I'll make a motion that we can do this plaque for him and present it in March.
I second it. It's worth the honor. Billy served the
16
town very
years
well.
in the prime of his life, I can't say it enough, what he has done for this town and the sacrifices he's made, and,
And our new mayor knows all well that he's got big shoes to fill, and he's filling them, but it's not easy.
I do know, and I'm very humble, and so far I've had,
I'm sure his arms will feel like tug of war.
had a lot of support, and I'm very grateful for it.
Yep.
But let's dispense of this and, we'll go forward, but, we have a motion and a second to approve the resolution presented by Madam Clerk, to have it laminated and have a nice plaque and present it at our March regular scheduled meeting.
You want it the March or the February?
Our conversations today, we couldn't get it completed.
No, I asked to have it done today so that we could have it for the February meeting.
You can have the plaque and
I think
everything?
we could have it, okay.
I stand corrected. The sooner the better. I wish we'd have done this in January, but as Mayor Colburn knows, the wheels of progress with the government are a little slower than the private sector. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Any other business to come before the council?
You added an item to closed session.
Yes, that's closed session. Any other items for open session?
No, I just wanted to remind that I'll be abstaining for the DBI issue. So I don't know if you wanna handle that first, and then I can come back in, or same as we did last time, or?
Is that agreeable?
What'd you say?
He's abstaining from
I'll be,
DBI.
the DBI, I've I'm abstaining from the issue of picking a DBI director, due to conflict on my end. So, just like I didn't attend the
He does
last closed
business
session.
with DBI, so.
Which one y'all wanna do? You wanna knock that out and call him back in, and we'll be together in
Yeah.
case we need to take action?
Yeah.
Let's knock that one out.
I would entertain a motion.
You want me to read the motion, cause you're going
You
in
can.
for acquisition of real property.
And I know that's repetitive, but I have to state it every time you guys bring up the issue. So if you could just hire somebody, I would appreciate it. Thank you.
Told Ben to hire somebody, you know?
I hate it when I do that.
So we need a motion to go into closed session, for personnel, DBI position, and for the acquisition or disposition of real property, which will be the discussion, consideration, or interviews of prospective candidates for employment, assignment, appointment, promotion, performance, demotion, salaries, discipline, or resignation of specific public officers, appointees, or employees of any public body, and for the discussion or consideration of the acquisition of real property for a public purpose, or the disposition of publicly held real property where discussion in open meeting would adversely affect the bargaining position or negotiating strategy of the public body.
Is there a motion?
So move.
Mr. Miller has moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Give it to Ms.
Ms. Williams is second. I ask for a roll call vote, starting with Mr. Gormus.
Aye.
Abstain.
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 6-0. We are now out of open session, and we will take a 2-minute recess to turn off